So you bought yourself a new bike, has a beautiful finish. You want to keep it looking good, but these new finishes, a lot of them are matte, even though this one does have a clear coat over it and is sort of a satin finish. Many mountain bikes now have a matte finish. Some of those, it's just raw matte. That means specialized care that a lot of manufacturers don't talk about. And here's the problem with trying to keep a bike clean. Most people spray them down with a water hose. They wash them like they would a car. I've made a video on this a few years ago where I said that's not really good for bikes. The reason is like down here at the bottom bracket. That's metal on metal. You're spraying pressured water there. Water will get in. It will find a way. Just ask any roofer. And we have worky bits on bikes that we just don't want water to get in because tap water, hose water, has minerals in it. That's how you get water spots. If you don't use a spot-free rinse, you'll see spots after you clean a car. That's why, well, that builds up on things. On an e-bike especially, it'll build up on electrical connections. Not good. Not good for a bike in my opinion. So in that video, I showed you I use a detailer. This is what I use. Chemical Guys Hybrid V07, the same stuff I've been using for years and years, because in my opinion, it is the best. And I'm not shilling for this company. I pay for this. I just spent $19.99 or something close to that for this bottle right here to clean not only bikes, but also to clean my other two wheels, my scooter, which, like this bike, doesn't have your traditional glossy finish. This has a matte finish, and on vehicles especially, a lot of mountain bikes, but definitely vehicles. You get into stuff like scooters, motorcycles, and cars, and you have the automotive grade paint, but you don't have a clear coat on this, and it's the clear coat that protects paint. So these matte finishes are basically just the raw base layer. I mean, there's primer under this, but then there's just a base layer of paint, no UV protection, no protection from bug splats. If you look close, you can see them, the little splatters here. That's where I had this out last night, and I was hitting bugs. And if this is left to sit, normally I clean this bike as soon as I get done riding for the day. Last night it didn't feel that well, so I just parked it and left. If I left this as is though, these little spots would be semi-permanent or mostly permanent, because even after I cleaned them, there would be some traces on this matte fragile finish. Even again, on mountain bikes, if it's a matte finish with no clear coat, you have to be careful when you're cleaning, but it's not as simple as a cleaner, at least according to the experts. Cleaning aficionados will tell you to never use a cleaner that is designed, even if it's just a detailer, that is designed for glossy finishes. If you use that on a matte finish, you're going to mess up your finish. It's going to put marks in it and swirls and all kinds of stuff. They say you need something specific for matte finishes. And this is what I've also used for years. Chemical Guys, or at least I did for a few years. I'm going to make an argument saying that this will do both, and you're about to see why. But this is a matte specific detailer. Also from Chemical Guys, again, not sponsored, though we'll put links to these down in the description. Affiliate links help support the channel without costing you anything extra. But I buy these with my own money. I have no affiliation with this company. But this is their meticulous matte product. It's a detailer designed for matte finishes, just like this one. And the aim of this is to add zero gloss. There won't be anything that can give any shine, because people pay big money for cars, vehicles with matte finishes. You don't want any shine. I mean, you bought matte, you want to keep it matte, right? The problem that I have though is this is the best matte detailer in my opinion. And even it is problematic. It just streaks too easy. It's more two steps, where this is just kind of one step. Even though you're always supposed to go back through with the cloth and wipe after you've sprayed, this I can just really quickly hit at all this, and I'm going to show you just how easy this is. Well, we'll see side by side and let you make the decision. But for me, and the reason I'm making this video, whether it be a scooter or a bike, a mountain bike, any bike, or especially e-bikes, a lot of those now coming with matte finishes, I'm going to say this will work. It works for me. Let me show you. And just so you can see what we're dealing with here, look in this area. See those little bug splatters? There's some up here, over here. There's a bug that streaked up there. There's still one. that still has the carcass intact that went straight for the headlight. They always go for the light. Down here, there's stuff here, all over this fender. We're going to clean this. This left side, the Vespa labeled side, is going to be the gloss, the V07 cleaner that technically is labeled high gloss. And over on this side, I'm going to use meticulous matte. Bikes or scooters, doesn't matter, just so happen to be showing you this on a scooter. I'm going to start out here with a microfiber cloth. I always use microfiber cloths. This is a Moxie. I buy Moxie from Lowe's, not because they have the best nap, because they don't. They're just cheap little microfiber, but because they're cheap and they do a good job. They cost less than microfiber from Harbor Freight. So I'm going to get this and set it on spray. I don't know if you can see, I have it on spray. It will do stream or spray. I set it on spray. But first, quick mist of my microfiber. And now I'm going to spray directly on to those bug guts. Let it sit for a second. And this has been sitting overnight. If I let this sit for days, as I've already mentioned, wouldn't be good. I'm just going to clean the one half here. Anything, anywhere that I see some stubborn spots, which is why on this mat it's so important to clean as fast as you can. If I would have felt good, would have came out and cleaned. So let me just wipe this. We'll let that dry for a second. And I'm going to come back with the camera close up. You just saw it, what it looked like before. Look at it now. That looks really good, right? Everything is gone. All those spots. Remember, I had one down there. You saw I only did one quick wipe down there. That's how good this looks. But if I back up, for the past 2 days, I've been cleaning this side with the matte cleaner, and I've been cleaning this with this, quote, technically gloss cleaner. Do you see a difference? I don't. Look at the dividing line there. I don't see any sheen, any marks, anything in this matte finish that's going to be a problem in regards to this cleaner, even on a matte finish. Okay, the sound's going to be a little different because my piece of crap road, I swear I will never again buy this company's products. Just absolute junk. This one, well, that should have a light that's doing something. All of a sudden it started doing nothing. And I can't even hook it up to my computer and get it to recognize this. Recognize this, but not this. So absolutely useless as far as a recording device goes. So I'm on raw iPhone audio. But here we are on this side. I don't know how well you can see. Let me get you a little closer in. There's some guts there. There's something there. There's some little speckies and splatteries here. So let me just back you up and do this in real time. Set this road garbage on the floor. I'm also going to be using a separate, and again, Moxie is the brand that I use, just budget-wise. But I'm going to be using a different color here, and this is the Meticulous Matte, made specifically for these finishes. And I'm going to set this, just a quick shake. That stream, so the bottom, got it on spray. So let's do the exact same thing. Spray that, let it sit for just a second. I always rip off my tags off of my microfibers and give that just a quick go. And let's give some wipes here to this. The smell difference between the two is astonishing. Usually products will have kind of the same smell, but these don't. They're very different. Get up there, get right there. I'll do the horn cast later. I'll just use the dividing line here. Okay, so I've wiped that. Let me get you in here for a close-up look. Let's let it dry for just a second. I'll just fan it. That's all it takes. Think hydrogen peroxide, I think, is the main ingredient. I got a little splatter here on this side from that, but let's get in close here. And let's see what it did. Those splatters there are gone, or the streak that was there, those are gone. And if we look down into here, we don't see anymore. So it cleaned equally as well. And that's what I want to stress here. me set this right here. I want to stress this. Whether it is the V7 or the Meticulous Matte, they both clean equally well. The Meticulous Matte, I have noticed, is harder to not get it to streak. In this case, it didn't streak, and that's good. I don't know if they've refined it. This is a brand new bottle. I just opened it before I started this video. But I don't know if they've refined it. But more importantly, do you see any difference? A matte cleaner, a technically gloss cleaner, there is zero difference from one side to the next. I think because they have the same active ingredients that, well, I know that this is not causing a problem on the matte finish to use a gloss cleaner, or at least this specific technically high gloss cleaner. I can't speak for any others, but I can say in my experience, this does just fine even on matte finishes, which gets me to my big point here, is why buy two separate products? If you have a bike or a scooter or motorcycle or car that has a matte finish and you have something else that has gloss finishes, why not just buy one product that will do the same thing on both of those? But if you are very neurotic, and normally I am a very neurotic person, that I stick with what it's supposed to be. But in this case, just my experience tells me different. So two good products, but one outstanding product. Now I can tell you, I have tried Meticulous Matte. I've ran out of this and been cleaning on my lawnmower. And I've tried Meticulous Matte. Doesn't look so good on glossy finishes. This works on both finishes. This does not look very good on gloss finishes. It's really bad actually, but it's not designed for gloss finishes. But this, it doesn't say that it's designed for matte, but it does, in my opinion, work on matte. So let's go down just a little bit lower here, down to this fender. We got a little gut stuff going on there. So let me just wipe. I'll just go ahead and use this again on these. Just let it sit. I mean, you don't even have to let it sit for long at all. If it's that's a stubborn one. That's dried in it, just touched dead bug guts. What I'll do is do that, and I'll let it sit on there for a second while I wipe everything else. I'm gonna go back up, do that horn cast that I missed. And then I'll come back down to that. I don't know if you can tell, they just disappeared. Just absolutely disappeared. And this isn't anything that I have to go back and re-wipe. Technically, you're supposed to, but it's that good. Just let this sit, and you're seeing some gloss there. That's because it's wet. But as I fan this, you're gonna see the streaks go away, and it will absolutely dry. See, they're slowly going away. Those will disappear. We'll come back to those. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Now, I want to point out something. If you look a little closer, I repositioned the light, but Meticulous Matte, I went back and redid this because I realized I touched over there with the other cleaner, but I went back and I redid this. V7 Meticulous Matte, but if you look really carefully, you can see some little streaking in here. There are definite streaking patterns, like right through there. I just saw it. But I went through and I cleaned this entire thing, dry wipe the chrome there. But just look over everything else. I cleaned all this with V07, including the mirrors, all this side, and down here. I didn't make you have to sit through watching that dry, but I mean, look how good that looks. It's matte. It is the same beautiful matte finish as when I purchased it. But the Meticulous Matte, if you don't do it just right, it's gonna leave streaks. Now see, if I went back and I dry wiped this, those streaks are gonna go away. But why do that when this is the blue rag, the one I used my V7 hybrid on? I can wipe this and no streaks. That's just where it's drying. That'll go away. I mean, see it disappearing as I'm fanning. That's how good this V7 gloss hybrid detailer is. Of course, as I mentioned, not only on my scooter, but on bikes. This is what I use to clean bikes. This stuff will absolutely decimate mud. I mean, caked on mud. So as you're wiping down your bike, you're trying to make it look good, make it look nice, cleaning all the nooks and crannies, where the mud really cakes in. You'll be surprised how with just one wipe. And I know I'm sounding like a salesman here. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying I've used this stuff for years to keep my bikes clean. And anybody that's ever received one of my bikes after I've donated it, or even the ones that I've built out myself and sold, usually people know how good things are on my bikes. And part of that is how I clean them and keep them up. My e-mountain bike, my one exception, I don't clean that as much as I should, especially being an e-bike. And that's another thing. It's one thing to clean a standard bike, but you get into e-bikes, and I would say scooters, mopeds, motorcycles, anything that has electronics or electrical connections on it, it's more important to not spray water on those if you can avoid it. And that's where something like this works great. Bikes and scooters for me, V7 hybrid, V07 hybrid from Chemical Guys for both. Again, a link down in the description. I just wanted to talk about these matte finishes. Now that they're so popular, again, this one's more of a satin finish. But the matte finishes, like I have there on my scooter, super popular now, typically require a specialized cleaner. But I use this for everything, gloss and matte. But I've also shown that even the Chemical Guys Meticulous Matte is an effective cleaner. You just sometimes have to go back and do 2 steps, which it tells you in the instructions anyway. But I found that this V7 hybrid works so well that I only need the one. And I also want to mention, let me just zoom you in here. I know this is kind of rough filming, but like these nooks and crannies right here. I just looked, you can see kind of some residue of bugs down in there. What's really hard to get into nooks and crannies. And what I do is I take this and I spray it and I let it run and I catch the drippings down here, because it will eventually just erode them on its own. And more importantly, it neutralizes them, at least in my experience, in the spots that you can't really get to, that you don't see, but you don't want the bug guts there. If you can avoid it, that's a reflection from there down into that. But yeah, V7 hybrid, V07 hybrids, what I use, bikes and scooters, and for years. It has done me well. I'll put a link down in the description. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Comment below with what you use. Do you use anything like this? Do you use detailers, or do you hose it down and just go bikes and all? Bottom brackets, be danged. You don't really care. Let me know what you do. Again, thanks for watching and have a great day.